Peace, infinite waters diving deep once again. We are out here breathing in that beautiful prana, baby. Depression. We got a question that came in from someone who said they know someone, their sister, who is depressed. She's 12 years old, she's young. How can she help her? She's cutting herself. Let me share with you a plethora of information. Can I get a hello there? We're gonna have some fun, baby. Right? Who says you can't have fun while talking about depression? 5 things only depressed people understand. Okay, let's start with the first one. When you are depressed, you feel like you're in an elevator. As a psychologist, I talk to depressed people all the time. Wait a minute, let me repeat that. As a psychologist, I've been depressed myself. Wait a minute, as a psychologist, about 7 billion people on the planet have been depressed at one point in their life. And if they say they haven't, well, they're lying. Can I get a hello there? So you feel like you're in an elevator, right? And nobody's around. Worse, the elevator is broken. It's jammed. You're stuck, right? And there's not even an alarm button. So you feel trapped. That's how a lot of people with depression feel. They're in an elevator. The good thing though, you get to listen to the beautiful bossa nova elevator music. Oh yeah, I know you enjoy it. Right? So what happens when you feel stuck in an elevator? You see, what will amaze you about depression, and what helped me along my journey, is that if you say depressed phonetically, it comes out as deep rest. Right? So in essence, I wasn't depressed. I was just taking a break. Can I get a hello there? You see, that is what will amaze you about what we call depression. There is nothing bad about it. It just means you are recharging. You're getting charged up. Now, let's hit the science for a second, right? Neuroscientists have found out, this is amazing by the way, that people with a smaller hippocampus, what happens? They have more depression. But what causes a smaller hippocampus? We're talking about stress. Stress causes a smaller hippocampus. So how do you get a bigger hippocampus? Less stress. Right? That's why a lot of people who take time to come out into nature, breathe in that good ass prana, baby, take time to heal themselves, are less depressed, thus creating more neurogenesis to build more brain cells to have a larger hippocampus. But more so, once you realize if you do feel depressed, it happens every now and again to all of us. It's okay. It just means you are in the elevator, which is really a metaphor for getting charged up. And you have to respect that, not go against that. That's key. Respect that, don't go against that. What's number 2? People with depression, what happens? The label depression, being depressed, is depressing in itself, right? That label, oh, I feel depressed. That label, that word, the connotations attached to that word are just depressing in themselves. But why so? Because you see, in society, we look down on people with depression. So what you got to tell your little sister who's 12 years old is that there is nothing wrong with being depressed. In fact, it is a gift. Why? Because when you are depressed, you realize, actually, I can take a day off work. Can I get a hello there? I can take time to heal my body. My body is trying to talk to me. Am I going to pick up the call or send it to the answer machine? Can I get a hello there? Right? Society can be depressing. You can be stuck in traffic and it can feel depressing. But once you realize that, you see, the majority of people that are depressed, it's because of the label. They think they shouldn't be feeling this way because depression is a so-called negative thing. If you can change your perspective on how you see depression, then you won't feel depressed because there is nothing wrong with depression. Number 3. See, people who are depressed, they have this eerie silence. It's almost as if you walk into a room and you can hear a pin drop. You can hear every little tiny sound. And that will scare the shit out of you. Can I get a hello there? So what happens? Many people who are so-called depressed, they can feel very numb. It's almost as if you are isolated. You're in a room full of people, but you're by yourself. You feel alone. Nobody's around. Parents are there, but they're not there. Friends are there, but they're not there. You're by yourself. You're on your own, Jojo. What are you gonna do? You see, there is a reason why. Going back to deep rest. Ever seen a lot of so-called spiritual leaders and gurus? They're meditating somewhere. They're depressed. Oh yeah, because they're in deep rest. They're by themselves. You learn more about yourself in the wilderness, not with other people. You see, as society, as human beings, we haven't embraced who we are 100%. That is why when we are left alone for 1 second by ourselves, oh my goodness gracious. Now you're gonna find out who you really are. You're gonna get to know yourself a little bit more. And this is very scary, right? This is what makes a lot of people so-called depressed, because you have to face yourself for the first time. But what if I told you when you are alone, there is nothing negative with that? In fact, it's a great gift because you don't have to deal with assholes. But you will miss the cat down the road. Okay? So this eerie silence, what I call the numbness. See, the great paradox of depression is that even though you are numb, you can feel. The reason why a lot of people take toxic drugs, they're drinking themselves to death, is because they don't want to feel. Depression is the last straw. Now you've got to feel. Why? Because you are at graduation. You are entering the next level of your evolution. And guess what? You can't deny it. Ever heard that song by Nate Dogg? Great song, by the way. Okay, now, number 4. Food, yes, food can make you depressed. There was a whole Finland study, right? That junk food, people that ate a lot of junk foods were more depressed, right? And what got them out of the depression was a more plant-based diet, right? So a lot of people who are depressed, they say this food sucks. This food is making me depressed, right? A lot of people who are depressed, that's what they say. They can't seem to sort of eat foods that make them feel less depressed. But if you look at the foods they're eating, a lot of it is junk. So what helped me along my journey many years ago, even till this day, conscious eating that food affects mood. A great tip, raw cacao, full of tryptophan, which encourages the production of serotonin. Once you've got a lot of serotonin, now you've got the melatonin, you can get a good night's sleep, which will make you less depressed, right? So, organic raw cacao, your food affects your mood. And lastly, what will amaze you about depression? Okay, people who are depressed will understand this, that you almost feel like you're in a cocoon. Once again, going back to the isolation. What happens in nature? You see the metamorphosis from the caterpillar to the butterfly. So I always tell people who are depressed, who can't find the juice of life anymore, who can't have fun anymore, to realize that the cocoon is not negative. You see, the caterpillar actually wants to stay a caterpillar. But once again, nature is urging it to go to the next level. So you got to realize when you are in the cocoon, great things are about to happen. Can I get a hello there? Right? When I was depressed for a long time, I realized it was because I was waking up, right? Lots of people who are waking up, you go through a big depression because everything you once believed to be the truth was a crock of lies. Terrible, right? But afterwards, you're smiling because you realize this clarity you have didn't have to happen, but it did. Therefore, you're grateful. So once again, depression is actually a gift in disguise once you look at your depression from another perspective. If you know someone with depression, don't remind them that they have a so-called medical disease. No, just say, hey, look, you see that iPhone over there? Yeah, that iPad, it's on docking. On a docking station. That's what you're on right now. You're on a docking station. You're getting charged up. Can I get a hello there? Charged up for what? Well, you'll see in just 5 minutes. So there you have it. We are out here. Woo! Ay caramba. Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Infinite waters. Diving deep once again. Stay well. Stay healthy. Peace.